Better Homes Gardens, whatever. It's average 4, okay? Everybody has them. That's one of the reasons why we sell it. We're not selling junk, okay? Over time, you guys have probably sold all kinds of random stuff for schools, sports organizations, and whatnot. When I was in high school, we had these, 2-page glossy photo things with like tin cans of like peanuts in them. They were like $12 for something you buy at Walmart for 3. And guess what? Y'all still do that, don't you? When I was in high school, we sold wrapping paper. Y'all still sell wrapping paper. When I was in high school, we sold, it's just I go on and on and on. Nothing's really changed about fundraising in about the last 3 decades. Well, first of all, we're doing a new fundraiser in our program that is new. It's a new way of fundraising. And we're also taking something that's been sold for a while, which is magazines, and doing that as part of it. So we're not selling junk because, like I was saying earlier, either fundraisers are overpriced crap, or they are overpriced good stuff. Taught you last summer wanted us to sell fruit, berries, and stuff like that. There was a thing of strawberries and blueberries about this big, and they're like $5 at Kroger. They were 12 in the fundraiser. And it's like, oh yeah, let's go sell overpriced fruit. So a lot of times their kids say, oh no, we should do car washes. Car washes are a lot of fun. You make about $3.50 in 4 hours with 15 kids. That comes out to about $3.50 an hour per kid. That's a horrible return on your investment. If I had 15 kids sell magazines for 4 hours, I'd make $2,000. So you got to look at the time investment, okay? And so we're not selling stuff that's not any good. I go on all day about bad fundraisers. I've been in education for this is going on the 3rd decade, and the worst ever, we did Christmas balls. We still have a lady's house here in Alfred. It probably has about 3,000 of them in the basement if you need them. And that was from about 15 years ago. I mean, I've seen the worst, I've seen the best. Fun, by far, magazines are the best. And the reason is because everybody reads magazines. Everybody likes magazines. Our price is the same or better than what they're going to get them anywhere else, or very similar. So it's not like the fruit that you're paying 3 times too much for. So it's a good product. The other good thing about this fundraiser is we keep 60% of the money. That's very high. I've seen as low as 20% on fundraisers. I've seen as high with other fundraisers of about 40, 50%. I've never seen 60. So this is the highest recovery we get out of the money we raise. And that's pretty good. That makes it nice too. And it's fairly easy. I've never had a kid go out and really try hard for a couple hours and couldn't sell some magazines. It's just not that complicated. Who do you sell to? The first 4 are the most common. Your family, friends, parents, work, and neighbors. That's the kind of old standard. You go, those are people you kind of hit up on every time. And those are the ones we're going to start focusing on as well, as far as, who is that?
Area and society.
Those people are going to ask as well. But the neat thing about this fundraiser is really different. Last year I had about 30 of my students who forgot to sell. Just did not, they didn't care, not they didn't want to try. They just totally forgot. Left it in the locker, forgot about it. These 4 right here, you're going to be able to do by email, and you're going to be able to do on a website. We're going to talk about it in a few minutes, and that makes this a really interesting project in the fact that you don't even have to think about it after you set that up, because it's going to kind of do it for you. Teachers actually will buy magazines, but about half the faculty buys our magazines every year. Church, synagogue, but that's also really any place you go every week. You might be Boy Scouts, AU basketball, volleyball. You might have like a martial arts class where you see people know you and your family. That's a real good place to sell stuff because people know you and they want to support the schools. The final 3 are all kind of connected, and that is anyone that has a waiting room. Your orthodontist, your family spent $4 grand with your orthodontist. Go up to him and say, hey, you want to buy a magazine for my school? He's going to come back and say, no, it's a magazine service. Oh, really? Well, you know, that service makes 60% profit, and our school can make 60% profit. Would you like to support a private company, or would you like to support me, who spent $4,000 at your orthodontal practice in the last 3 years? And he's going to get the point, he's going to buy from you. I had a kid last year sell like 6 to 1 orthodontist. So, just go in there, ask those folks, beauty parlors, salons, whatever, nails places, lawyers, places like that. All right, good place to sell those. How to do it? I'm going to give you the old school paper product, just so you can kind of do some face-to-face sales if you need to. But you've got a list of a million titles, not a million, but several hundred magazine titles. And we're not talking about like stuff that nobody reads. I mean, this is pretty much straight up a majority of homes these magazines are going to have, okay? And from a variety of services. So just about anything you can think of as far as you want to read is going to be in there. All right, so you ask people to look through them, and invariably they're going to see things they like. Another thing you might want to do to start off is before you even show them the list, say, you know, go up to your neighbor. Natalie, who's your neighbor? Name one of your neighbors you know pretty well. You don't know your neighbor. Natalie lives in the castle. Joanne. All right, so Joanne, she's Joanne. Joanne, do you have any subscriptions to magazines? Joe's going to say, yeah, I got Better Home and Gardens. Well, look at my titles and see if it's on there. If it's on there, you can renew your magazine through us. Or see other titles you might want to do. The profits go to school. So you can start off that route. Two, ask me to have magazine subscriptions because we can renew them. People have to renew those. We're going to go over that in just a moment. Okay, so a big marketing point is that this goes to the schools. That's a big point for folks. Okay, to know that the money's going local. Hit on the fact, man, everybody knows the schools got gutted budgets this year. Say, you know what, my school's lost a lot of money, we had a lot of budget cuts, we're trying to raise some money so our program can be as excellent as it's always been. Would you like to support a school? A lot of people go, you know, you're right, schools got, you know, and then people will support schools, they don't mind it. Matter of fact, it's almost like they expect it, all right? And then have to fill out the forms. The forms are so easy, they're self-explanatory, you don't need to worry too much about those. Actually, I'm not even going to class and explain them in too much detail. The only thing I'm going to point out in the form is if it's a renewal, make sure you check renewal. It's about the only thing on this thing that might not make sense to you right off the bat. It's a very simple form to use, okay? So what happens if they say no thanks? Go back to the renewals. You know, if you're Sprint Joanne, right? Was that the name the reason? Joanne's like, oh, no thanks, I just renewed. Here's the thing on renewals, if they just renewed. They have to renew again. Okay, if you renewed, that means for the next year you get your subscription again. Okay, well that subscription is going to end. She can renew now for the school. The school makes it 60%, not some marketer out of California. Tell them that. So, you know, you should renew to a company. That's great. It's a great magazine, but that money went to a private company, not the magazine. Whereas in this situation, the money can go to us and go to our school. So why don't you go ahead and renew the next year through us now? And I tell you what's real funny, I got Newsweek, and last year I realized I have Newsweek through like 2013, you know? So, I mean, it'll just keep adding it on forever and ever and ever. I'll be dead like 30 years and still getting Newsweek. So, push renewals. Okay? Gifts. It's time of year. People have birthdays. People are pregnant or just had a child. They got parent magazines, things like that. You got a newlywed couple. They've got good magazines for, you know, that kind of thing. They're great gifts. All right? Really, really good gifts. If all else fails, ask for a straight up donation. They're like, no, I don't really want a magazine. Say, well, would you mind making a small donation to school for $5 or $10 or $15? It's tax deductible. You write a check, you put it in your taxes. And you're thinking that $5 doesn't sound like a lot of money. If every kid in my program got 2 people to donate $5, that's $1,240. It adds up really fast. So like, well, you know, man, $5. I mean, anything really helps. Oh, okay, well, $5. They write a check. I mean, that's $5 we didn't have. Okay, so it can add up pretty quick. Close the sale. All checks go to the school. CHS or Centennial, either one works for us. The magazines take 4 to 6 weeks. The new way we're doing the magazine sale, it's going to clear right off the minute you put them in. If they go credit card, it's done. If you put them in the computer and we are, and I've got to clear it the next day, it's a day or two, and it's in. The Craze organization, it takes them a couple of days. You'll hear me call this C-Raise, and you'll hear me call this Craze. I call it C-Raise to remind you that's how it's spelled. Like Fundraise, C-Raise, okay? But it's pronounced Craze, okay? But the publishers, hard to say. Rolling Stone, when I first started getting it again a couple, 3 years ago, I got like a week. It was almost like, how is that even possible? I'm already getting this magazine. But some companies take a little longer. Okay? Now, that's nice. You may be wondering, though, well, show me the money. What's the money all about? What's going on? How can I make money? First of all, I'm going to tell you about your expectations. I expect every student to sell 5. All right? Now, I invest 60 hours a week in this program. Most teachers invest about 35 to 40 in their classes. I spend a lot of time with you guys out of class. I do a lot of work to make this program outstanding. I expect you to do that in return. We all work hard. Look around it, okay? So that's 5. Most families have 4 magazine subscriptions, so half of you guys are lucky enough to be in those households. You go home and you're almost done, right? All right. Remember, the renewals is the big thing. Renewing those subscriptions are where you're going to be able to make some easy sales, okay? If every student met their goal, we'd make over $10,000. It's easy for you to go, wow, man, $10,000, we can never spend that money. Let me show you how that money's not even enough. We hope to break $10,000 this year because we need it. But let's talk about how you win. Every time you make goal 5, your name goes in the hat. All right, so if you sell 15 magazines, your name's in the hat 3 times. Next Friday, which is the last day of the sale,